You eat well, you walk when you can, and you still feel your legs getting heavier, slower, or more painful. The surprising place to look might be the fruit bowl on your counter. In this video, I'll walk you through 7 common fruits that for some seniors could be contributing to leg weakness, cramps, swelling, or stiffness, and exactly what to eat instead, with easy swaps you can try this week. Before we start, one quick favor. If you want more practical tips like these, please subscribe. I share simple, research-aware ideas for keeping your mobility as you age. Let's set the stage. As we get older, a few normal changes happen in the body that make certain foods affect us differently. Metabolism slows, blood vessels become less flexible, kidneys may handle fluid and salts less efficiently, and the way our bodies process sugars can shift. That means a food that felt fine for decades may now produce a sharper blood sugar spike, more fluid retention, or more irritation around joints. Those changes don't mean the fruit is bad, only that it may have effects that for some seniors can make muscles ache, joints swell, or stamina fade. Throughout this countdown, I'll use careful language, words like may, could, and for some seniors. These are possibilities, not guarantees. Think of this as a detective checklist. Notice patterns, try small swaps, and talk to your healthcare provider if symptoms persist, or you're taking medications that could interact with certain foods. Number 7, bananas, the muscle imposter. Bananas are convenient, soft, and loaded with potassium. They've been marketed for muscle health for years. But for some older adults, bananas can be a sneaky source of a fairly quick carbohydrate hit. That fast sugar rush can lead to a short-lived blood sugar spike, followed by an insulin response that may be followed by a dip. Over time, repeated spikes and dips can increase inflammation and leave muscles feeling fatigued sooner. Bananas are also relatively high in soluble carbs compared with some lower glycemic fruits. Signs you might notice after eating bananas: a sudden tired or heavy feeling in your calves, cramps at night, feeling more short of breath on a walk you usually manage, or a sense that your legs need more rest than before. Practical guidance. Try halving a banana instead of eating a whole one, or pair a small banana with a spoonful of nut butter or plain yogurt to slow the sugar release. Alternatives. Choose a small handful of berries or half an avocado with a squeeze of lemon for a more balanced snack. Vignette. Joan, 74, realized her late-night calf cramps tended to start a couple hours after the bowl of banana slices she added to her cereal. Number 6, oranges, the citrus comfort that can sting joints. Oranges are cheerful, hydrating, and full of vitamin C, but their citric acid and concentrated natural sugars can be a problem in 2 ways for some older folks. First, the quick sugar content may produce the same rapid blood sugar fluctuations we just discussed. Second, for people who already have sensitive joints or circulation issues, the acidity and mild vasodilation after a sugary citrus snack can temporarily increase the feeling of stiffness or swelling in the lower legs. Signs to watch for: puffier ankles or a sense of fullness in the calves after a citrus snack, mild burning or stiffness in joints that wasn't there before, or a short period of increased ache after an orange-heavy meal. Practical guidance. Limit to 1 small orange or half a large one as an occasional treat. Try diluting orange segments with plain Greek yogurt or adding them to a salad rather than eating them by the slice. Alternatives: a few orange segments mixed with blueberries, or swap for pear slices, which are gentler on blood sugar. Vignette. A caregiver noticed Mr. Harris, 80, seemed more puffy around his ankles on afternoons he snacked on whole oranges between meals. Number 5, watermelon, the thirst quencher that can carry a heavy load. Watermelon feels light and hydrating, but it's mostly fast-acting sugars and water. That combination can cause a quick rise in blood sugar and a transient fluid shift into tissues. In older adults who already retain fluid or have weaker circulation, that shift can make legs feel heavier and more swollen, especially after a large serving. Signs to notice: legs that feel swollen or heavier late in the afternoon after a midday watermelon snack, temporary worsened ankle swelling on hot days when you ate a lot of melon, or a feeling of reduced stamina during evening walks. Practical guidance: enjoy watermelon in small portions, a few cubes rather than a large plate, and pair it with protein or healthy fat, a small handful of nuts or cottage cheese to blunt the sugar rise. Alternatives: cucumber slices or a small portion of berries paired with cheese. Vignette. After a picnic, Linda, 67, found that her usual stroll felt more tiring on hot afternoons when she had eaten large amounts of watermelon. Number 4. Grapes, the tiny sugar bombs. Grapes are delicious and portable, but they are surprisingly concentrated in sugar, and it's easy to eat a cup or two without thinking. For some seniors, eating a large handful of grapes can create a spike in blood sugar, and in people prone to gout or uric acid issues, the fructose in grapes can contribute to higher uric acid production, which may trigger sudden toe or foot pain or more general joint aggravation. Signs to notice: sudden sharp toe or big joint pain the day after a lot of grapes, increased stiffness in the knees after dessert, or recurring calf cramps that seem to follow grape-heavy snacks. Practical guidance: limit grapes to a small handful, about 10-15 grapes, as an occasional snack, or swap them entirely for a cup of mixed berries. Alternatives: cherries, in moderation, which some people find helpful for uric acid, or sliced pear for sweetness without the same fructose density. Vignette. A neighbor remarked that Mr. Alvarez, 76, had a stubborn flare of toe pain after a weekend where he snacked on several cups of grapes watching a sports game. Number 3. Mango, the tropical sugar rush. Mango is luscious, fragrant, and feels like an indulgence. It's also quite high in sugar and can push blood sugar up quickly in sensitive individuals. For seniors with early insulin resistance or slower glucose handling, that surge can lead to more inflammation and a greater tendency toward fluid retention and muscle fatigue afterward. Signs you might notice: feeling unusually tired or heavy in your legs a couple hours after enjoying mango, more pronounced joint stiffness the morning after a mango-rich dessert, or decreased ability to climb stairs without resting. Practical guidance: keep mango to a small portion, a few slices rather than a full cup, and pair with protein or fiber, for example mango with plain yogurt and ground flaxseed. Alternatives: papaya in small amounts, which has gentler enzymes and less sugar density, or a handful of berries for sweetness without the same spike. Vignette. Ray, 69, loved mango smoothies, but began cutting them back when he noticed his nighttime leg fatigue seemed worse after an afternoon smoothie. Number 2. Pineapple, the enzyme that demands caution. Pineapple is prized for its sweet tart flavor and contains bromelain, an enzyme that can aid digestion and reduce inflammation for some people. But bromelain can also interact with certain medications, and because pineapple is relatively high in sugar and acid, it may produce blood sugar swings or mild irritation around sensitive joints in some seniors. Signs to be aware of: temporary aching in the lower legs after pineapple-heavy desserts, mild digestive upset paired with increased muscle cramping, or a pattern of worsened joint discomfort after frequent pineapple consumption. Practical guidance: if pineapple seems to affect you, limit portions and avoid eating it on an empty stomach. Always mention it to your healthcare provider if you take medications, because some food-medication interactions are possible. Alternatives: papaya or pear, which are gentler and lower in bromelain, or avocado slices for a savory contrast. Vignette. After adding pineapple to several salads each week, Gloria, 75, wondered if the small upticks in her ankle stiffness were related. She mentioned it at her next clinic visit to check interactions. Number 1. Green apples, deceptively tart with a sugar punch. Green apples feel like a healthy, crunchy choice, and their tartness often masks how much sugar some varieties contain. The combination of sugars and acids can provoke the same blood sugar swings and mild tissue irritation we've discussed. Because people often eat apples as a standalone snack, without protein or fat, the glycemic effect can be more pronounced. Signs to look for: morning stiffness that seems worse on days you snacked on an apple the night before, leg fatigue on afternoon walks when you had an apple at lunch, or increased nighttime cramps after apple-heavy desserts. Practical guidance: pair apple slices with cheese or nut butter to even out the blood sugar response, or choose a smaller apple and limit frequency. Alternatives: pears, which tend to be lower glycemic and more fiber-rich, or a small serving of berries. Vignette: after swapping her mid-afternoon apple for a handful of walnuts and a few berries, Marcia, 72, noticed fewer late-day leg aches and more energy on her evening walk. Quick recap of the core mechanisms: why these fruits might affect legs. Rapid sugar load: a quick rise in blood glucose can cause an insulin surge. Over time, repeated spikes may increase inflammation and reduce muscle endurance for some people. Fructose, uric acid. Fructose is metabolized differently than glucose and can, in susceptible people, raise uric acid levels that may trigger gout-like pains. Fluid shifts and retention. High-water, high-sugar fruits can temporarily shift fluids into tissues, worsening swelling and a sense of heaviness in legs that already have circulation challenges. Acids and local irritation. Citric and other fruit acids can briefly increase sensitivity in already inflamed joints. Enzyme medication caution. Fruit enzymes like bromelain in pineapple may interact with certain medications. Check with your provider. What to watch for: top 5 signs your legs may be reacting to a food pattern. 1. Heavy or aching legs that start within hours after eating a particular fruit and seem to follow a pattern. 2. New or worsening calf cramps, especially at night, that resolve when you adjust your snacks. 3. Increased ankle swelling or puffiness on days with large portions of juicy fruits. 4. Sudden toe or joint pains, gout-like, that flare up after fruit-heavy meals. 5. Reduced endurance. You tire faster on familiar walks after certain fruit snacks. Small, practical mitigations you can try today. Portion control. Treat a whole banana or a large serving of mango as an occasional treat rather than daily habit. For many seniors, a half banana or a few mango slices is a safer starting point. Pairings. Always combine fruit with a little protein or healthy fat, nut butter, plain yogurt, cottage cheese, or a small handful of nuts. That slows absorption and reduces spikes. Frequency. Rather than having high-sugar fruit every day, space them out, maybe 2 to 3 times per week, and fill other days with lower glycemic options. Hydration and timing. Avoid huge fruit portions on an empty stomach or right before a long period of inactivity. Pairing with movement or a small walk can help circulation. Tracking. Keep a simple log: what you ate and how your legs felt later. Patterns often emerge within a week or 2. What to eat instead: friendly fruits and how they help, berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, low in sugar, high in fiber and antioxidants. They tend to cause smaller blood sugar changes and have anti-inflammatory benefits. Try a half-cup mixed berries with plain Greek yogurt as a snack. Cherries in moderation. Some people find cherries helpful for uric acid regulation and inflammation. A small serving, a few dozen cherries or a half cup of tart cherry juice diluted, can be useful occasionally, but don't overdo them. Avocado. Technically a fruit, high in heart-healthy fats and very low in sugar. Excellent to pair with whole grain toast or a salad for sustained energy without spikes. Papaya. Gentler on blood sugar than many tropical fruits and contains mild enzymes that aid digestion without the bromelain concerns pineapple raises for some. Pears. Higher in fiber and lower in quick sugars than many apples. They make a satisfying, gentler snack. Simple serving ideas. Anti-inflammatory breakfast. Plain Greek yogurt with a small handful of mixed berries, a sprinkle of ground flaxseed, and a few walnut pieces. Midday snack. Half an avocado on whole grain toast or pear slices with a tablespoon of almond butter. Dessert swap. A small bowl of sliced berries with a dollop of ricotta or a sprinkle of cinnamon instead of mango or pineapple-based sweets. 1 week sample menu of sensible swaps. Use as a flexible template, not a strict diet. Day 1, breakfast. Oatmeal topped with a few blueberries and chopped nuts. Snack, half avocado. Lunch, salad with a few orange segments mixed with leafy greens and grilled chicken. Orange is used sparingly. Snack, a small handful of mixed nuts. Dinner, steamed fish and vegetables. Day 2, breakfast. Greek yogurt with raspberries and chia seed. Snack, pear slices with a thin smear of peanut butter. Lunch, turkey sandwich and side salad. Snack, a few cherries, small portion. Dinner, stir-fry with brown rice. Day 3, breakfast. Smoothie made with spinach, half a banana, plain yogurt, and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. Pairing slows sugar. Snack, cottage cheese and sliced cucumber. Lunch, quinoa bowl with avocado. Snack, a small serving of papaya. Dinner, baked chicken and roasted vegetables. Day 4 to 7. Rotate similar ideas, keeping high sugar fruits to occasional treats, always pairing fruit with protein or fat if you eat it alone. FAQ, short answers to common questions. Can I still eat small amounts of these fruits? Yes. For many seniors, a small portion paired with protein or fat is fine. Watch for patterns and adjust frequency. How often is too often? There's no universal rule, but daily large portions of high-sugar fruit are more likely to produce the patterns described. For those noticing symptoms, try reducing to 2-3 times per week and see if things improve. What counts as a portion? A portion is roughly half a cup of fresh fruit, a small piece, like half a medium banana or 1 small apple, or about a handful of berries. Adjust downward if you notice symptoms. Will cutting out these fruits cure my leg symptoms? Avoiding or reducing certain fruits may reduce triggers for some people, but it's not a guaranteed cure. Leg weakness can have many causes, so use dietary changes as one part of a broader plan, and consult your healthcare team if symptoms are persistent or severe. When to see your doctor or pharmacist. If you have sudden severe leg pain, redness or warmth, that could be more than diet-related. If you notice persistent swelling that doesn't improve with rest and elevation. If you have a new pattern of gout-like attacks, sudden toe or joint pain. If you take medications, especially blood thinners or other long-term drugs, mention any diet changes, including increased pineapple or other enzyme-rich foods, so your provider can advise on interactions. Phrase it as a check-in rather than an alarm. I'm trying a dietary change and want to make sure it's safe. A simple 1-week challenge to try. For the next 7 days, replace 1 high-sugar fruit snack with a low-glycemic alternative paired with a protein or healthy fat. For example, if you usually have an afternoon banana, swap it for half an avocado on whole grain toast or a small bowl of plain yogurt with a handful of blueberries. Keep a 2-line log. What you ate and how your legs felt that evening or the next morning. If you notice improvement, that pattern is worth continuing. If not, discuss it with your clinician. A few final important notes. These notes are intended to help you spot patterns and make small, manageable changes. They are not a medical diagnosis and do not replace professional care. Don't stop taking any prescribed medicines without talking to your healthcare provider. If you're managing conditions like diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, or gout, coordinate dietary changes with your medical team. Food affects people differently. The goal here is awareness and gentle experimentation, not restriction or fear. Small swaps can add up to meaningful comfort and better mobility. If this information resonated, please do one small thing for me. In the comments, type 1 or share one swap you'll try this week. I read as many as I can, and it helps others find practical ideas too. Check the description for links and further reading. You've been making good choices already by paying attention. This is about fine-tuning, not blame. With a little tracking, a few simple swaps, and a conversation with your clinician if needed, you may find your legs feel a little lighter and your walks feel a bit easier. Thank you for watching. Take one small step this week and see how it feels.